Moments later, the pavilion filled with a burst of excited voices. This is... How can this be? Golden Blaze Art, a fire-based technique. It can be practiced all the way to the nascent soul realm? This one, that one, and this one as well, they're all nascent soul-level techniques. Haha, we've struck it rich, we've really hit the jackpot this time. Observing the cultivators slip into near frenzy, Li Fan inwardly sneered. He casually picked up one technique, chose a nearby desk, sat down, and started copying it. He made no effort to study its contents, instead methodically transcribing every word and sentence exactly as written. This was because all these techniques were mere illusions. In his previous life, the countless cultivators who had passed through this place had already reached a firm conclusion about the techniques that appeared during this trial, no matter how one tried to record them, whether by memory, writing, or any other method, all traces would disappear the instant one left Cloudwater Palace, as though they had never existed. These thousands upon thousands of tempting techniques were nothing more than flowers in a mirror or the moon reflected on water, designed purely to lure the mind. While a few of the present cultivators might have vaguely suspected the truth, how many could truly resist the temptation to closely examine what appeared to be genuine nascent soul techniques? One or two had even become so absorbed in the technique's profundities that they completely stopped copying. Days passed, the endless task of copying was dull and exhausting, but, having learned from the previous night's lesson, no one dared to cut corners by using techniques. Before long, some began to falter, unable to keep up their pace. They couldn't help but pause to rest. Some closed their eyes for a short moment to recover, then quickly picked up their brushes again. Others took proper breaks to gather their strength before resuming with renewed determination. Li Fan, however, never paused for even a moment. There were 2 or 3 others who, like him, seemed tireless. They appeared to have exceptional endurance and mental resilience, likely thanks to their cultivation methods, showing no signs of fatigue even after long stretches without sleep or rest. Li Fan, by contrast, was simply gritting his teeth and pushing through. He understood clearly that for this trial, Qin Tang's evaluation was not based solely on the number of techniques copied or the frequency of mistakes. Another vital factor was the total time spent writing, from the moment the brush was lifted until it was set down. Just as Qin Tang had said earlier, this stage tested focus. Once someone began copying a technique, any pause, for any reason, meant their focus had been broken. Li Fan immersed himself entirely, his mind free of distractions, wholly absorbed in the act of transcription. He forcibly suppressed every sensation of physical and mental exhaustion. He had no idea how much time had passed. Suddenly, Qin Tang's voice rang out beside them. Phew, that was a proper good nap. He stretched lazily, and the paper and brush in front of Li Fan disappeared. Time's up, let's see how you all did. Qin Tang squinted slightly, as though examining something, then shook his head repeatedly. Truly getting worse with each passing year. Wait a moment. How interesting. He cast a glance toward Li Fan, a faint smile playing on his lips. But Qin Tang said nothing more, quickly shifting his gaze away. The first trial is now over, everyone may rest tomorrow, the second trial will begin the day after. He clapped his hands, and Li Fan felt the world shift around him. In an instant, he was back inside the tall building where they had slept before. Qin Tang's figure did not reappear with them. The cultivators finally relaxed. They grew lively, chatting excitedly among themselves. This is truly a tremendous opportunity. I managed to memorize 15 techniques while copying. Most were golden core techniques, with a few nascent soul ones among them. I memorized quite a few myself. What's the point of memorizing so many? Let's focus on surviving first. Don't say that. Given my own abilities, if nothing unexpected happens, my path ends at Foundation Establishment. To have the chance to glimpse the mysteries of forming a nascent soul, even if I die tomorrow, I'd have no regrets. Amid the discussions, some cultivators began eyeing the belongings left behind by those who had died that fateful night. Unfortunately, after searching around, they all wore disappointed expressions. Li Fan overheard a cold laugh from someone nearby. Don't bother, I checked that night, after they were killed by Qin Tang, their storage rings, artifacts, and everything else were gone, not a single thing remained. Hearing this, Li Fan shook his head and was about to return for proper rest when his gaze accidentally fell on one of the corpses. He froze. It was Jiao Xiuyuan's body. After 3 months, it had gradually begun to show something unusual. Unlike normal flesh and blood, it resembled dried wood, taking on a yellowish hue. Just then, a voice came from behind Li Fan. "That's just a puppet, not his real body. It's one of Jiao Xiuyuan's usual tricks. No need to be surprised, fellow Taoist." He immediately cupped his hands in salute. "Thank you for the clarification, fellow Taoist. Are you also part of the Myriad Immortals Alliance?" "I am Li Fan. From what you've said, it seems you're quite familiar with this Jiao Xiuyuan?" The man nodded. "Indeed, I am Chinen. I've been with the Alliance for over 30 years now. Familiar might not be the right word, but after living on this island for so long, one comes to know certain things. Take Jiao Xiuyuan, for example. He runs a general store on the island called Thousandly Hall that sells just about everything. Rumor has it he has connections with the official Myriad Immortals Alliance channels. So occasionally he even manages to sell some genuinely good items. Beyond that, he frequently deals in information, but the man never risks his own skin. He always uses puppets to handle his business." Li Fan listened, then slowly nodded. "Greedy for wealth and fearful of death, I see." Chinen laughed. "An excellent summary, fellow Taoist. That phrase describes Jiao Xiuyuan perfectly." After his laughter faded, Chinen suddenly remarked, "Back when we were copying techniques in the archive, I noticed everyone else would write for a while, rest when tired, recover their energy, then continue. You were the only one who worked for 3 months without pause. I found that quite admirable. Yet I wonder, what was the deeper meaning behind your actions? In terms of pure copying speed, your fatigue must have eventually slowed you down compared to those who rested periodically. Might you enlighten me, fellow Taoist?" Li Fan thought for a moment before replying. "I wouldn't call it a deeper meaning, just a personal intuition. Really," Qin Tang said, "the first trial was about focus. Focus means an undivided mind. To achieve ultimate focus, one must remain undisturbed by any external factors. Isn't physical and mental fatigue also an external disturbance? If you stop because of it, does that not mean you've lost your focus?" Li Fan said modestly. "Anyway, this is just a foolish thought of mine. Take it for what it's worth." Upon hearing this, Chinen fell into thoughtful silence. Early on the 3rd day, Qin Tang staggered before the group, drinking from a gourd. "Fine wine, truly fine wine." He let out a hearty belch, then squinted at the assembled cultivators. "Today, we begin the 2nd trial. This time, I shall test your courage. The path of immortality is long and filled with countless hardships and trials. Do you possess the courage to face each one? I await you on the other shore. Use your courage to cross this sea." Their cultivation and power were sealed, leaving them no different from mortals. The crowd exchanged uneasy glances. One bold cultivator stepped forward and placed his foot on the water's surface. The water instantly froze into ice. Supporting his weight steadily, elated, he strode forward and soon disappeared from sight. Seeing someone take the lead, the rest grew impatient and surged into the sea. Li Fan noticed Bai Chen among them, following the crowd, yet Sikongyi remained motionless on the shore. Li Fan paid them no further attention, steadying his thoughts as he stepped onto the water. Ice formed beneath his feet, but the others had already vanished from view. On the vast, empty sea, he stood completely alone. With a calm expression, Li Fan walked forward, step by step. The sun rose, and the moon set, again and again. How long had it been? The scenery never changed. This sea seemed endless. Even knowing the outcome in advance, Li Fan felt threads of doubt and powerlessness creeping into his heart. It was then that he noticed the ice beneath his feet growing thinner. He took a deep breath. Pushing back the unease, he continued walking, resolute. The ice thickened once more. This 2nd trial tested courage, not only against external threats, but against one's own inner self. On that boundless sea, after walking so long with no shore in sight, would doubts arise, making you question whether you're going the right way? Would anxiety grow, leading you to wonder if this sea would ever end? Would fear take hold, draining your will to continue? Or would you simply give up? With every step, Li Fan questioned his own heart. This journey across the frozen waves was like the path of cultivation itself, an endless road disappearing into the mist. Halfway through, you look around, uncertain if you'd already lost your way. From beginning to end, you walked it alone, with nothing and no one to rely on. Time flowed on, and it seemed you might have to keep walking forever, never reaching the end. Even so, could you hold fast to your conviction? Could you never lose the courage to keep moving forward? Even knowing this trial would eventually end, Li Fan's resolve wavered. This journey across the sea had lasted far too long.